How is everybody doing? Welcome back to another live stream on this Saturday. I'm here to talk about the crypto market as Bitcoin is trying to regain the range that we just lost. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 24 to 48 hours on Bitcoin and whether or not this is just a fake rally in the short term and we're just going to end up going lower. I'm going to discuss that in today's live stream. I'm also going to get into my favorite altcoins, and I'm going to discuss some altcoins that aren't on my list that I still think can do very well because, I'm not just bullish on the cryptos that are currently in my portfolio. I'm also bullish on some other projects that are not in my portfolio, and we'll discuss some of those a little bit later on in today's live stream. But before we get into it, please make sure everyone to leave a like on the stream. It helps out a ton with the channel's growth. Also, check out Blowfin, link down below. It's the crypto exchange that I am personally trading on. And I have limit buy orders set on Bitcoin at various levels to the downside on Blowfin. And that's why I was able to get a buy order at 60,100 on Bitcoin, right? I was literally sleeping when Bitcoin had that big correction overnight, and my buy order at $60,000 got hit. And that is all because of the fact that I did a limit order. I highly recommend people set limit orders on Bitcoin if you are looking to, increase your Bitcoin position in this current market, because let's be honest, the market is quite volatile at the minute and it could go either way. We could see some volatility to the downside, and if you've got limit orders set, then you're able to get those wicks without having to stare at the screen the whole time. So check out Blowfin. There's a link down below. It's the exchange that I personally use. It's no KYC, so you can use it anywhere in the world, and you need a VPN if you're using it in the US. So check it out. Make sure to use my link down below, and you'll be able to get some potential rewards exclusively if you use the link in the description. Okay, let's get into the market. Bitcoin, as of right now, is trying to get back into this triangle that we lost. All right, I mentioned this at the very beginning of the stream, and we're still not necessarily back into this range yet. We seem to be finding some resistance at the previous support trend line. So, in theory, this generally is a good time to short. Statistically, this is a good time to actually short. But this market has been so weird lately that I don't even know if I would go and short Bitcoin here, because there's just not enough confidence for me that we are going to go lower. Everyone's saying that we'll go lower. If you go onto crypto Twitter, if you just watch YouTube in general, pretty much everyone is saying that we're going to go down to, $55,000 or $53,000. And I just don't think it's a given. I mean, I think it's likely, don't get me wrong. I said earlier that I think most likely Bitcoin will sweep the lows, or at least go slightly lower, and then get a bullish divergence and then go and pump for a sustained period of time rather than just a very short-term fake rally like this. I think if we can go down, sweep the lows, maybe even make a lower low, a slight lower low, then we can get a bullish divergence on the daily, on the 4-hour, and that could potentially lead to more of a sustained multiple month bounce with volume and with a degree of impulsivity, as opposed to just chop, which is exactly what Bitcoin's been doing for the past couple of weeks since we had that major breakdown to the downside. And like I said earlier, right, on these major moves to the downside, you need limit orders, because most of the time it's going to dump when you're sleeping. These massive scam wicks are going to happen when you're sleeping. They always seem to happen during the night. So if you have limit orders set on Blowfin, then you're able to basically be buying up these dips. And if I was setting limit orders right now on Bitcoin, I would be setting a limit order probably where this, candle body is. So let's just say 62,800. I would set a limit order down here at like 60,000. Let's just say 60,100. That's exactly where my one got hit. And if you look at this chart, it was literally at the bottom. Okay, 60,100. That's where I told the VIPs to buy Bitcoin, and that is where my limit order got filled on Blowfin for Bitcoin. So I would hit one at 60,100, and I would also go and put one exactly where the 200-week moving average is. So if we just go on this SMA here, select 200, which is the major macro support on Bitcoin, I would also go ahead and set a limit order on Bitcoin around 58,500, give or take, right? Because that's where the 200-week moving average is as well. So they would be kind of the main levels I'd be looking to buy Bitcoin. I think it's quite likely that maybe we make one more move down to the 200-week, then we kind of fill it, and then we get more of a sustained bounce to the upside. Something very interesting is the similarity between Bitcoin and software companies right now. I've seen a few people talking about this, but not as many as you'd think. Bitcoin and the software companies seem to be following this very similar structure. And it's pretty crazy, actually, if you overlay some of the software companies on Bitcoin. I mean, this is a software ETF. But if you go and look at some of the software companies, they're all crashing right now. But if you look at the S&P 500, the S&P is not necessarily crashing. If you look at the Russell 2000, that's not necessarily crashing either. So it seems to be a specific problem related to software companies and related to kind of, just companies which may be in danger due to some of the technological advancements that we're going to have. Whether that's AI, you've seen a lot of the software companies sell off due to Claude or whether that's quantum computing potentially threatening Bitcoin. It's hard to know exactly the reason why these two are correlating so closely, but I think there's some form of technical advancement risk that is currently getting priced into some of these asset classes right now. And again, I said this on the last live stream, it's very important. Markets are very forward-looking. Markets price things in a lot earlier than anyone could imagine. This sell-off that's happening right now with the software stocks and with Bitcoin and crypto, this could be pricing something in that could be 2 or 3 years down the line. So just always remember how intelligent markets are and how forward-looking they truly are, because you can get caught off guard if you're not aware of that. They're very forward-looking. People think the market is just reacting to what's happening today. Well, think again. The market is reacting to what's going to be happening in the next few years. That's how forward-looking the market is. Appreciate everyone being in the stream today. Smash up the likes on the live stream. I'm going to get into some of your comments. Please share the stream with someone who could benefit from it. We're going to discuss as well a little bit about the tariff situation, because we did get a speech from Trump after I finished yesterday's live stream. So we will talk a little bit about the tariff situation and what the ramifications of that could be on the crypto market. But hit up the likes. We've got AMC in the stream, Crypto Goat, Mike, Ruin Walker, Smiles, Chirp, ICB, Ruin Walker. I just said that. And O House. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm going to go through your comments a little bit later on in the live stream. So get your questions in. Any altcoins you want me to review, put them in the chat, okay? So, yeah, Bitcoin is trying to regain this triangle that we've lost. And it's a tricky one, because this looks like a situation that would be the perfect short position, right? You've got a bear pennant, you've got a massive dump, followed by a triangle. Typically, these break down to the downside, and they are simply just continuation patterns. What has been happening will continue, which is further downside. But we are in a very interesting situation where it seems like the situation with Iran may be kind of easing a little bit. I was reading that there's been some talks and potentially there's a bit of de-escalation. We will check the polymarket prediction market on this, because I want to see the actual probabilities, not just what we're hearing from mainstream media. So if we look at this, yeah, there you go. The percentages are decreasing. It seems like the percentages have decreased a little bit, but they're still fairly high by the end of the year, right? There's still, by the end of the year, a 73% chance the US strikes Iran. By the end of March, 60%. So, yeah, not decreasing too much, actually. Not decreasing as much as I would have thought it would. Because we are hearing potential talks and stuff like that, but honestly, it just seems like maybe Trump has already made his decision, right? And that's what some people are saying, is the way that Trump's talking about this situation he's already made his decision. He's going to war with them. He's attacking them. You know, he's already got the decision in his mind. They're just picking the right time, maybe, to do it. So I don't know if the talks are really going to affect things too much. Maybe the decision's already made, as a lot of people are saying. But yeah, it's just a weird market at the minute. What you think could be a perfect short position, like this looks like, may not be, and maybe we just come back up. But I guess that's the whole point of a stop loss, right? That's why you set a stop loss. But I am personally seeing further downside when I'm looking at this chart. I've just got to be honest with you. We lost this range. That's a clear lack of momentum. It was quite a strong red candle when we lost the range, and we've been attempting to get back into it, but we haven't yet. So yeah, probably we are coming a bit lower in the next couple of weeks, and that's going to present itself as a great buying opportunity. And I honestly believe that there's not much more downside to go with this market. You know, there's not much more downside because we've got time-based capitulation going on as well, which is arguably even more painful than price capitulation. Because at least if you dump 80% in a month, it's over and done with pretty quickly. The painful thing is when it lasts a very, very long time. That's when it's particularly painful because it's more price-based capitulation. Time-based capitulation. It's draining, it's boring, it's dragging on. Most people, if you could ask them, would you rather Bitcoin just dump 80% in a month, get it over with, and then we continue a bull run? Or would you rather a year of sideways and a year of moderately down? Most people would take the 80% dump in a month to get it over and done with. So it's really the time that hurts because people are so impatient. And that's the problem, is people can't wait for a few years to make generational money. They have to make it instantly. And that's why they won't make it, because they've got this mindset where they need to make it all super, super fast. And most people with that mindset never make it. You got to broaden your horizon. You know, so many people thought 2025 would be the year where they retire. And it was almost too obvious that a lot of people would end the year in disappointment. But let's go through some of the comments. So, looking forward to the course, says AMC. I appreciate that. And I agree. The course is going to be super, super valuable, guys. If you're not on the course already, definitely join the waitlist, because this is going live very, very soon. I believe we have a date. 2 days. You've got 2 days left to secure the course at this price, and then the price is going up. And the early release of the course will be coming out tomorrow. So the early birds will gain access to the course tomorrow. If you're on the big bundle, I believe you're going to gain access to the course tomorrow. And if you actually purchased the course alone, then you're also going to get the course tomorrow. Okay, so the early access people will be getting the course tomorrow. Can't wait to see you guys' thoughts and opinions on the course, because it took a lot of time and effort for myself and Cryptex to create. A lot of planning went into it. And there's so much alpha, there's so much knowledge in the course. And the great thing is it's going to be updated every month as well. With any additional thoughts on the market, I'll be adding it into the course. So like I said previously, you can buy the course on its own, which you get 60% off for. Or you can bundle it with my actual membership package, lifetime membership package. And then you can use the code at checkout, bundle2026, and you're going to save yourself, I believe, either 25 or 35% off. I think 25. So bundle 2026 at checkout, and you'll save yourself 25% off if you buy the bundle, that is. But guys, not a crazy day for the market. Injective's starting to spike up a little bit, which is interesting. This has been an altcoin that's been absolutely hammered. Let's see if we're getting a breakout on Injective. Because, you know, I never held Injective. I never had it in my portfolio. I don't remember having it. But I always appreciated the project. I always thought it was a decent project. Not anything amazing, but always thought it was all right. So yeah, not really seeing anything just yet. Looks like we're still very much in this channel, but if it does get a breakout out of this channel, it could be pretty bullish because this thing basically came down and filled the 10-10 wick as its bottom, and now it's slowly starting to move up. This is an altcoin which when it moves, it really, really moves. This one pumped crazy during 2023. 2023 was a great year for Injective. 2023 and early 2024. This is a layer 1 built using the layer 0 Cosmos. So it's a decent one to potentially consider if we get a breakout. But these are my top altcoins, as you guys know. Bitcoin, obviously not an altcoin. Then Solana, Sui, Casper, Tau, Sei, Aster, and Plasma. And then, of course, we have the VIP gem, which I believe can do incredible gains. That's actually a great buy today. If I was going to buy one of these altcoins today, it would be the VIP gem. So if you want that, definitely join the VIP. You get that and a load of other benefits as well. How's Pump Fund looking? So let's take a look at Pump Fund because I was following this and it had a bit of a breakout, but now it's given some of it back. What I am impressed with, however, is the fact that it did hold the breakout line. So Bitcoin's kind of doing the opposite. See, Bitcoin's rejecting at the previous support. Pump Fund held the previous resistance. So Bitcoin's a breakdown structure on the 4-hour. Pump Fund on the daily is more of a breakout structure. So this one looks fine. I'm actually very impressed with the structure of the chart. You're buying it pretty cheap. I mean, what would this be just to all-time highs? If Pump Fund just goes to all-time highs, you're talking a 4.2x. I think it'll go way higher than that in the bull run, in the next bull run. In the next bull run, I think Pump Fund could potentially go to the market cap of something like Bonk, let's just say. What did Bonk go to? Actually, no, that's the same. Maybe not Bonk. What's a Solana meme that did very well? Like, which meme coin on Solana has done the best? Let's see. So we got Bonk. Maybe it is Bonk. How high did Whiff go? Maybe Whiff? Okay, Bonk and Whiff both around a 3.5x. So surprisingly not that high. Some of these Sol memes, I thought they actually went higher than they did. I thought the Solana meme coins went higher than they did. They didn't go that high at all. Looking back. You know, you compare that to what happened in 2021, it's apples and oranges. In 2021, you had Shiba Inu go to like 40 or 50 billion. You had Dogecoin go to like 80 billion. Man, even Doge Elon Mars went pretty high. Whereas this cycle, the memes didn't do anything because there was so many of them. It was very saturated. But that's kind of insane. Anyway, let's check what it would be to Pepe's market cap. I know Pepe is an Ethereum meme, but let's just see. Guess Pepe was the breakout meme of this cycle. The standout meme. So yeah, I think Pump Token can do something between like a 3 and a 10x, somewhere in that region in the next bull run. I mean, after all, it is the casino. It is the casino token, so rather than betting on some of the individual meme coins, you can just bet on the casino token and literally just buy Pump alone. So yeah, I think an 8.9x on pump is achievable, but I'm not necessarily fully betting on it. But isn't that crazy, guys? Pepe went to an 11 billion market cap in the last bull run, I guess you could call it. With and Bonk both kind of just went, was it like a 3 to 5 billion market cap? So it wasn't an impressive bull run at all for meme coins. Like, everyone made out it was the meme coin super cycle, but the reality is meme coins didn't really do anything impressive at all. When you compare it to 2021, like I said, you had Dogecoin go to 80 billion, Shiba Inu was like 40 or 50 billion. So it's just not impressive. Like, we genuinely didn't even do that well with memes this cycle. I think the fact that Dogecoin and SHIB are still number 1 and 2 proves that meme coins didn't even do that well in the last few years. Because if they did so well, you would see the likes of Pepe, the likes of SBX, the likes of Fartcoin. You would see all of them in the new top 5, right? But it's still Doge and SHIB, number 1 and 2. The fact that it's those two, number 1 and 2, literally proves to me that it was very disappointing for memes. Because none of the new memes even broke through, really, if you think about it. They couldn't even outperform Doge or SHIB. So, very disappointing for the memes. So, yeah, Bitcoin just looks like it's probably going to reject here. If it can regain the range, then happy days, but you gotta stand on the side of probabilities here. This looks like a breakdown. Yo, we got Exile in the stream. How's it going, Exile? Good to see you, man. Long time no see. Long time. Is it a good time to accumulate virtuals? Well, let's take a look, because virtuals is another one of those alts that's in a big range. Ooh, just broke out of this range. Wow. So this was like a chart that I had drawn out on virtuals on the weekly, and it was really respecting these levels, but it's broken down to the range. Down from the range. That is not bullish. Because that was such a perfect triangle, and now it's lost it. I wouldn't be touching virtuals here, personally. I mean, it could just go back up and regain it, but it's just a bit of a sign of loss of momentum for me. Cheers and hit up those likes. Yeah, let's get those likes up, guys. I think there's another question that I missed. Man, can I zoom out? Why is it so zoomed in, man? There we go. Where do I see Bitcoin by the yearly close? That's an interesting question. So, what's very interesting is in 2025, we closed the year red. That's the first ever post-halving year to actually be red on Bitcoin. So, you know, when you zoom out and you look at it, like 2021 was a major green year. 2025, we actually ended up closing the year in the red. Bitcoin's never had 2 consecutive red candle closes, ever. This would be the first time. If this year ends red, it would be the first ever time for Bitcoin. So let's go on the 12-month chart and see where Bitcoin actually needs to go in order to close green. So Bitcoin needs to go above roughly like 85K, is it? Zoom in exactly and see. So like 87K Bitcoin needs to go above on the yearly close to actually have a green year. See, 2017 green, 2018 red, 2019 green, 2020 green, 2021 green, 2022 red, followed by 2 green. You know, this would be the first ever time we would have 2 consecutive red candles if this plays out. you know, the way it's looking. Now, I'll give you my opinion. I actually think we're going to have a very strong rally towards the end of the year. Everyone is saying that we're going to have a Q4 bottom. And the fact that everyone is saying that makes me quite concerned about that opinion. I think there's a very strong chance that we basically front run the entire year being green. Let me say that again. I think there's a very strong chance that we basically front run the fact that people expected this whole year to be red. People said this whole year would be red. Now, the fact that everyone is saying that makes me believe that it's not all going to be red. And when there's a very obvious viewpoint amongst the masses, when there's a general consensus viewpoint that 95% of investors share, typically it doesn't happen because it gets priced in earlier than expected. The people who are going to sell already sell. Why would we bottom in Q4 if everyone believes we're going to bottom in Q4? Everyone would just sell way before then, right? Everyone would just sell in Q1. So that's my thought process. And for that reason, I think there is a very good chance we could close the year in the green. As crazy as that sounds right now, I think there is a solid chance we could close the year in the green. I'm not saying we'll make a new all-time high this year. I don't believe that'll happen. I think that'll happen next year. But I do believe there's a solid chance we could actually close the year in the low 90,000 region. Or even higher, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, exactly, Exile. Everyone is saying $40,000. For that reason, it's probably not going to happen in my view. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It's obviously not impossible. If you look historically speaking, Bitcoin always seems to bottom out at the 786 fib. From cycle low to cycle high, Bitcoin always seems to bottom out at the 786 fib, which is around 39K. 40K, just call it. So I get why people are saying that, but it's almost too obvious this time, which makes me believe that it might not happen. When something's happened 3 times, it's rare that it happens a 4th time. Usually the 4th time is actually the upset. What are my thoughts on Aave? I like it, but I prefer Morpho in that sector. But it's good. What up, Archie? God bless, buddy. Appreciate that, man. How's it going? I love Moonwell, regardless of how bad the chart looks. Yeah, it's kind of like the degen play to Morpho or Aave, yeah. In that sector, my favorite pick is Morpho. Just because of the Coinbase integration, the Coinbase backing, that's what makes me so bullish on Morpho compared to some of the others. Troll, man, what happened to Troll? Let's take a look. Is anyone still bullish on Troll? We made a 24x on that thing, which is insane. And I was actually taking profits at super high prices. People were calling me crazy for selling Troll when I was up like 24x or whatever it was. And I was like, man, 24x. How often do you make that? Troll was a great call, man. One of the best calls, I'd say, of 2025. And we called it right at the bottom when no one believed in it. So it's still very much in a downtrend. No sign of a breakout just yet. It came back down to its base, which is bullish. You know, I always say this, guys. When you see a major move up like what Troll did, it is bound to come back to that base where all the volume is. Because this is just one big move. It's not sustainable. One big move. You will always end up coming back down to that massive area of volume. Because this is known as a volume gap. See this period here? That's a volume gap. There's no historic volume at that level. And because you go up so quick and you fail to build a base on the way up, you fail to do higher highs and higher lows in a nice organic, slow and steady manner, then you end up essentially just coming straight back down at some point. Sometimes it's not instant, sometimes there's a bit of chop around the highs, like there is here, but eventually you will lose momentum and you will end up coming back down to where the base is. So, crypto TA101, guys, very important, and it doesn't just apply to crypto, it also applies to many assets out there, guys. Assets love volume, and that's why Bitcoin right now is hovering around a major zone of volume, not only in 2024, but also in the year of 2021. There is a ton of volume around that kind of $65,000 to $45,000 region. 65 to 45K has a ton of volume. Good evening, Archie. I appreciate what you do for the community, even if you don't care for the Super Bowl. Man, I must have triggered a few people with my Super Bowl comments, but it was mostly rage bait, mostly trolling, but there's definitely a large degree of truth in what I was saying. But welcome to the stream, Rock. Do I think Aave could go down to $70? What's it at now? 122? Aave's another one that's in a big range. Man, look at this range for Aave. You know, a lot of projects look like this. And this is the kind of move that gold did before it took off. It just ranged for years in this kind of pattern. And then it took off to the upside. This is exactly what gold did. And then it exploded. And this, by the way, is also what XMR looks like, Monero. Same thing. See? Why do so many projects look like this? It makes you think, what if? And I'm not comparing crypto to gold in terms of actual, you know, assets. Not comparing the assets. Comparing the charts here. Don't get me mistaken. I'm comparing the charts. Comparing the bars. I'm not comparing the assets. But what if crypto is following the same kind of fractal as gold? Let's take a look at gold before it took off. We see that? Do we see that? Look at the similarities. Again, you've got to forget the fact that it's gold, because you always have those emotional guys in the comments saying, oh, you can't compare gold and crypto. Just shut up for a second, okay? We're comparing the charts. Forget the asset. This could be a chart showing the price of freaking anything. McDonald's. Could be the sugar price. Could be anything. Take a look at this, which is gold, and we go and take a look at the likes of XMR or Aave. Do we not see the similarity? Years of sideways, followed by a major blow off top breakout. Just putting it out there. I mean, this is the everything bubble, right? Maybe crypto's next. Because there's a lot of coins that look like this. This is Monero. This is Aave. We can go and check the others chart. And it looks the same. They all look like this, guys. Loads of the cryptos look like this. Maybe 90% of the quality ones, not the crap that just keeps on going down to zero. But most of the quality cryptos that actually follow some sort of chart structure, they all look like gold before gold exploded. And look, they could just go straight to the downside. There's always a chance. But I've just got that slight feeling that we're going to see something very similar to what gold did in the next couple of years for these cryptos, these quality cryptos that have maintained their structures. So what you're saying is don't fade Aave? Well, Aave looks fine from a charting perspective. I just prefer Morpho. I think Morpho has more ROI potential because Aave's already got a relatively high market cap. And I'll say it again, the reason I like Morpho so much is because it's directly integrated within Coinbase. So if you go onto the Coinbase app and you want to borrow money, they are going through Morpho. It's Morpho that will do that. So that is why I'm bullish on Morpho, is the Coinbase connection. What are my thoughts on the Pyth chart? Or Pith? I don't know how you say that. But I know it. And this was another one that was hyped up a lot. Whatever happened to this? Damn. This thing looks rough. I don't know, man. I would avoid this. It doesn't look good. Looks very bad. It's down 95% in 2 years. Look at, this is a good way to judge a coin as well. Look at when its all-time high was, guys. Very important. This all-time high was in March 2024. A lot of old cryptos topped out in March 2024. A lot of the AI cryptos topped out in March 2024, and they never came back. So if your coin topped out in March 2024 and it barely even got back to that level in January and in October time, the likelihood is that crypto is in fact dying out. And if you look at the volume on this, 12 million volume to market cap ratio is 4%. That is not good. What's Solana's? Bear in mind, it's a much bigger coin. Solana's is 5%. What about Hyperliquid? Only 1%. Okay, that's bad. Maybe it's just a quiet day, to be fair. H-bar 1%. Okay, fair enough. I'm not gonna bash it too much for that, but the volume's very low. $12 million of volume is super low. And just looking at the general chart structure, Bitcoin made a new high here. Bitcoin made a new high here. Bitcoin made a new high here. Pith made a new low on every single one of those occasions. A new lower high. So it doesn't look great. Source swap will do well if H-bar does well. It's directly linked to H-bar. So you just want to follow the H-bar chart, and that'll kind of tell you where Source is going to go. But guys, you definitely got to get on the course because the price is going to be going up, I believe, in 2 days. So this is your last chance pretty much to get it at this price. The Navigating Crypto in 2026 course. There has been a ton of time and effort that's been put into this course by myself and Cryptex as two hosts of the course. I'd say about 80% of the course is my content, but there's also about 20% which Cryptex actually created. So I highly recommend getting on the course. This is going to be timeless. The whole year, this is going to be relevant, so you can always check back into it in a few months' time. And you can see there's a little video here explaining the course. You can see all of the information in the course. And like I said, I'm going to be updating it as we go along. And yeah. This course will help you in guiding, you know, in kind of navigating the year of 2026. It's your ultimate guide to 2026. When to buy in, the narratives, I believe, will do well. And there's an entire section on charting as well. So if you're not familiar with how to chart crypto and you want to improve your charting skills, then there's an entire section of the course dedicated to technical analysis. It's about 3 hours long. It'll tell you everything you need to know to be successful in crypto. And like I said, you can get it as part of the bundle if you use the code well, I don't know if bear market still applies. That might still apply. But if you use the code bundle2026, you'll save yourself 25% off. Just try those two codes, bundle2026 and bear market. One of them will for sure apply. And you're going to get a massive discount on the bundle, which gives you the course as part of it. Gives you course access, gives you lifetime mentor tier, which is my highest monthly tier. And you also get 2 one-to-one calls with myself and indefinite one-to-one messaging. So you can message me at any point forever, essentially. So ton of value in that. And just think about it. The decisions you make in the next few months are going to be imperative to the state of your success in the next few years. If you can buy the right altcoins at the right prices, 2 things which most people don't do, your chances of success are going to be drastically higher. And the course and the membership are going to help assist you with that. You know, I really mean it, guys. Most people do not do those 2 things right. They buy the wrong projects. They buy stupid, terrible, outdated projects, crap coins. You know, no offense when I see most people's coins in the chat and I see most people's portfolios. I don't think they're any good. Maybe 10% of them are good or 20% of them are good, but most of the coins are crap. And most people buy at the complete wrong time because they buy with emotion. They don't follow the right indicators. All of that stuff is key to your success. So if you want to fast track your route to success, get on the memberships. Guys, I appreciate all of you watching the stream. Make sure you have a great rest of your Saturday. There probably won't be a live stream tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm very, very busy tomorrow with some non-crypto related stuff. But there'll definitely be a live stream on Monday. So I'll look forward to seeing all of you guys over on the channel on the next live stream. Definitely check out the memberships. Check out Blowfin as well. There's a link down below to Blowfin to claim some potential rewards for depositing money on my link.